Hello, welcome back. I'm Eric Franklin with the Garrison Public Affairs Office, and this week's episode of the podcast will be a little bit different due to the winter weather we had last week. Fort Hood Sentinel staff member Blair Dupre will be talking with Ben Griffin, the Center Operations and Program Manager for the Fort Hood USO. She also speaks with Captain Serena Taylor and Lisa Carney, two volunteers. All and more on this week's Great Big Podcast.
Tell me how long you've been working here, just overall.
All right, well, I started working at the USO in August of 2019, and I've enjoyed it ever since.
So maybe in your years here, what has people coming out here and volunteering their time meant to you?
Well, I grew up around the military as a civilian, so I tell people I know everything about the Army from a dependent point of view. But what I've seen is when the volunteers come in here, they want to work, they want to serve, they want to make sure that our service members and their families are taken care of. They want to provide that extra, what we call red magic. And basically what that is just being thankful, polite, having that gratitude, and just showing that you're here to help. Today we had our therapy dog come in today and talk to some of the service members about that and have her go around just to brighten up their day. We do a lot of events, and I think the service members or all the volunteers that want to come to the USO and be a part of this, that's what it's about. You've heard the words brotherhood and sisterhood in the military. It is truly that. Folks want to come out here and serve their service members.
What does it mean when another soldier comes out and is willing to kind of serve their peers?
I think that is fantastic when a service member wants to come out here and volunteer with the USO. I know they get some sort of meritorious ribbon for doing that service, but mainly it's kind of, I know what you do in the Army. They come here to enjoy and relax, and who is the better person to do that than an actual service member? So it is just fantastic to see that.
And what would you say to those that are maybe interested in volunteering at the USO? What would you, how would you encourage
Sales pitch, huh?
Yeah.
Well, I always tell folks, come out, look at the USO, see what it is we have to offer. We have an orientation that we conduct every second and fourth Tuesday of the month, and we want to see if we're a right fit for you. It's if you like giving back, if you want to help uplift the spirits of our service members and their families, come to the USO. We have everything that you could possibly want to do. We do crafts. We do movie nights, we do video game stuff, we do family game night. There are so many opportunities here, and we would love to see if we're a right fit for you.
What's your favorite thing to do here?
I'm a big movie guy, so anything dealing with the movie stuff or even trivia and events like that, that's my pride and joy. I really, really like that. But for me, I like to kind of sit behind the scenes and just let it all play out. Let the folks that have what it is they want to give, do their job, make the service members and the families feel just at home, because we are the home away from home.
Sir, just for you, what is it like to just know that, throughout the day when you guys are open and soldiers get a chance to come in and either volunteer or just partake in the services there, how does it make you feel to know that you're helping soldiers and their families?
It is the most rewarding experience that there can be it working at the USO, volunteering here, being a part of our United States service members, both the men and women coming to the USO. There is nothing like it. I mean, we are the fun place. We do the fun stuff. The service members come in, they relax, maybe get a cup of coffee, a beverage, a snack. We serve lunch. Just seeing the smile on their face when they walk through those doors after a hard day of work, because we don't know what they do in the military. We don't know what their lives are like, but we do know that at the USO we can provide that extra bit of love and respect, and a place that's a home away from home.
Okay, and then last question that I have for you, tell me a little bit about what's a normal day like at the USO for you guys?
Well, on a normal day, our hours are from 09 to 1700. We offer pool, ping pong, we have snacks, coffee, a computer lab, a video game area, we have a movie theater, and that's just the stuff that's open on the regular day. On a daily basis throughout the week, we'll do different events. We do bingo, trivia, we'll do a mystery event. We have our canines that come on the Mondays now. I call that hot dogs and hounds. It's a lovely event. But a typical day is just us opening our doors saying, come on into the USO, make yourself at home. What is it we can do for you? That is a regular day at the USO.
If you've got problems and feel like you just can't get answers, there's a place for you to turn. The Inspector General's Hotline. They take your issues seriously. If you're at the end of your rope and need someone to reach out to, grab a pen and take down this number: 254-287-7209. That's 254-287-7209. The Fort Hood office of the Inspector General. They inspect generals, so you don't have to.
Okay, so tell me, how long have you volunteered here at USO Fort Hood?
I have been volunteering, actually February makes 2 years, a little over 2 years.
Awesome.
Yes.
So maybe do you have like a fun memory or experience you want to share with us from your 2 years here volunteering?
So I have a fun memory with the USO in general. So I started volunteering with the USO because throughout my entire military career, I've been in the military for 13 years, the USO has always been somewhere, some shape or form. So a fun story that I have is I got deployed, went to base training, went to AIT, got to my first duty station, and they tell you, congratulations, you're going to Afghanistan. So I get there, and my favorite holiday is Christmas, and we get to Afghanistan, and I'm like, oh my God, that'd be really cool if it snowed. And everybody's laughing. They're like, it does not snow in Afghanistan. I don't know, and in my head, I'm like, how are we gonna have Christmas with no snow? And we get there, and that year it snowed. And in that, somehow, magically, I don't know who worked it, but we had all these boxes, and all the labels on it said USO on it. And there was like cookies and candy and games and just all this stuff. So I didn't know at that time what the USO was, because the only time that you hear about the USO or see it is when you're getting shipped on basic training, and that was the only time I'd ever seen it. So I was like excited because now we have snow, and then we kind of have some sort of resemblance from home. So it's kind of a warm Christmas that year.
So maybe what's been most rewarding volunteering here?
So here I get to give back to some of the my soldiers get to come here, and I see people that I interact with on a daily basis. The team is awesome. So after 2 years you kind of become family, so that's really cool. And then who doesn't want to volunteer at the world's largest USO? So there's always that perk.
Well, why would you recommend that other active duty soldiers volunteer their time here? Like, why is this the best place to volunteer at?
So, I love that question. So when I was a soldier, so I was enlisted first, and when I was a junior soldier, I actually lived in the barracks that are right across the street. And we didn't have we didn't know about all the fun things to do, right? And so soldiers just think, okay, well, if I'm in my barracks room, it's whatever I have there, right? So TV and all those things. So the USO here, we have programs. You can come in here and you can use the computer, you can play all the gaming systems, you can, play pool, but in addition to that, they have programs. You have a movie theater. During the holidays, which is my favorite holiday, during the holidays, you have all those programs. So there's always something to do, and I tell the soldiers that, I'm like, there's always something to do, not to mention lunches. I'm like, if it's free, it's for me. So, take advantage of that too. So there's something for everybody, basically. So that's what I'm always telling them when we're talking about it, because you often hear about soldiers that are like, well, I'm bored, there's something to do. Well, I know a place. so yeah, that's what I always like to tell them.
Is there an activity here that you see soldiers kind of gravitate toward?
Oh, they love the gaming systems. So I've been volunteering here for 2 years. I still have yet to work them. So I always phone a friend when they come to sign them out. I always find one of the younger volunteers because they know all that stuff. Mm-hmm. And I ask them okay, listen, they want that gaming system, but they love the gaming systems. So I would say that's probably their number one.
Perfect. And is there anything you want to add or say? I've enjoyed it. Unfortunately, with the military, you PCS. At some point, I'll PCS. I wish I could just pick the entire USO up with me and they can just go with me. But I know that can't happen. But it's been a really awesome 2 years. That was great.
Okay. And ma'am,
Yes.
one quick question for you.
Uh-huh.
If you could explain what the importance for you as a soldier and as a junior, coming from a junior soldier to now being an officer, just what is the importance of organizations like the USO?
So also great question. I think, like I mentioned, having seen it from junior NCO to now an officer, I feel like soldiers need some sort of consistency, right? And you don't have that often in the military because you're moving every, so often. But one thing that is consistent, if I'm not mistaken, I've always seen a USO somewhere on an installation or somewhere near an installation. So I feel like it's important because it's an organization that gives, obviously, to the soldiers, that now soldiers can take advantage of it and say, okay, well, at least I have that consistency wherever I go.
What is life? An honorable discharge sounds disgusting. Where'd my file? Which end of the horse do I stick the carrot in?
Sporky asks a question.
I don't know. Hey, everybody. Sporky here, and I've got a big question. What is OPSEC?
Fork utensil. How is it that you don't know about operational security?
Annie Pumpkin. No need to be so formal. You can call me Sporky. All my friends do. And I know all about operational poo-poo-poo. But what is OPSEC?
Operational security's OPSEC, fork utensil.
Ooh, maybe it's OPSEC. That's spicy. Where do babies come from?
Fork utensil.
It must have something to do with the military and things. I know. I'll take pictures of stuff all over post and put them on the internet and ask, is this OPSEC? Is this OPSEC?
Fork utensil,
Ooh,
you
it
better
sure
not.
smells like OPSEC.
Look, there are 5 steps to OPSEC.
Oh.
Identifying critical information, identifying the threat, assessing vulnerabilities, analyzing the risk, and developing and applying countermeasures. The OPSEC is pretty common sense, like not talking about troop movements or other sensitive things.
You mean it's a process by which organizations assess and protect information about things that could, if properly analyzed and grouped with other data by a clever adversary, reveal a bigger picture that ought to stay hidden.
That's exactly right, fork thingy.
Forky.
And like they used to say, loose lips sink ships.
Ooh, I love a good submarine joke, but seriously, where do babies come from?
Oh my goodness gracious.
Practicing good OPSEC is everybody's job. Protect your fellow service members. Don't be a sporky.
Tell me how long you've been volunteering here.
So I've been here almost a year and a half now.
Okay. Perfect.
Yeah.
So, what do you have a fun memory here that you want to share?
You know, it's funny because the reason I originally started, so I've been a dependent child, I've been a service member, and I've been a spouse. So I remember even as a child moving across the world and my dad taking me into USOs at airports, on layovers and things like that. So I've always had a fond memory. It's funny, when I was actually stationed here, they had just opened, but I did not know about it. And it was open for about 2 years before I ended up getting out of the military. So it's a way to connect with the brotherhood and sisterhood of the military. You kind of never leave that. And so it was important for me to give back to a group of people that I admire and respect.
So, what would you say is most rewarding about giving back? I mean, now that you're...
There are so many things, but one of my favorite events every year, there's a group of about 6 photographers, professional photographers that come up from Houston, and they do family portraits for the families. And if you've ever gone to anywhere and paid for portraits and paid the markup for, you know, touch-ups and things like that, the fact that they come and do that for the soldiers so the soldiers can have something to send back to families or a Christmas card, I think is pretty phenomenal.
So why would you recommend others come volunteer?
I would recommend, it's an extension of taking care of your brother and sister in the community. So I think we've gotten away from community service, and I know the last few years with COVID and the shutdown and then, you know, the economy and things like that, it's kind of hard to stay kind of motivated, but coming in and doing for others, I always find is an uplifting reward for anybody, and I think anybody who takes the time to do that will find it just as rewarding as well.
Just real quick, you had mentioned that you, as a child, you've been through around the USO almost your entire life. Just for you, what is that excitement like when you see other young soldiers and other young families come into the USO here at Fort Hood and get a chance to experience it?
I know for a fact, or I feel like I know for a fact that quite a few of them actually enjoy it, because you see a lot of repetitive family members who come out like they know when we're having family game night. So it's not just for the soldiers, it's for the spouses too. You know, there's a coffee luncheon for just spouses of service members that they come in and they get to chit chat and catch up. It is a very unique community because, as you know, just the lingo alone can be very daunting. And so if you're coming from a smaller area and you're coming to big Texas and Fort Hood, knowing that there are other people in your same shoes who can relate to what you've related to, I mean, it can be a really quick, fast-paced way to learn, especially if you're from smaller areas. So just the opportunity to reach out, chit-chat. I still love hearing all the things from these younger soldiers. I'm like, oh, you're making me feel old, but I'm in the know, so I can pretend. But yeah, so just good times while.
Hey, great place. This is Candace Wallacey. I'm your Fort Hood Army Fisher House manager. And I just want to let you know that if you're looking for opportunities for volunteerism, donations, or even if you need our services, we are located at 36015 Santa Fe Avenue, right across from Cardamsey. And if you need to get in touch with us, please reach out at 254-338-6521.
You know, one of my favorite things is the video games over at the USO, but also when they have food over there as well. Like, and the printers. Come on.
Yeah, free printing.
Finding a printer on Fort Hood when I first got here was so difficult. And then I showed up at the USO's front doorstep and they're like, come on in. And I was like, oh,
we have printers.
Yeah, they're like, we have printers. And I was like, fantastic. So super helpful, super fun, super awesome people there. And I am so jealous of for the folks not here in the room, our reoccurring guest, Blair again. So jealous that you got to go over there and interview them and talk to them for a bit. That must have been awesome.
Yeah, it was cool. They did say the gaming systems were the most popular.
Yeah.
Probably. And I noticed while we were there, the printers were also very popular. So
they always are.
5-page limit. You can't print more than 5 pages.
Right.
So that means someone printed out a book, because that's the only way that you can get to a 5-page limit is if you print out a book.
I remember when I was in processing, they had us print like 36 pages or something like that of a packet. Yeah. Yeah.
Nonsense. And I guarantee you, whatever that packet was, you don't even need it anymore.
I don't even remember what it was about.
Exactly.
I don't even remember, but they helped out. So I got 5 free pages.
It works.
But it does. If you need something printed real quick, leave form, whatever it may be, head over there. They're super awesome.
Well, I know that they just, and you know what? When we were over there, they said that they had just celebrated their 82nd, 84th.
I have notes. Hang on.
Oh, she has the notes.
I have notes.
Because I don't want to say
I think
the
it
wrong
was
thing.
82nd. I think you're right.
Yeah. I mean, they just celebrated it last week, so it was pretty cool that they had a celebration and that they've been able to be a part of, soldiers and airmen and sailors' lives, like literally forever, like as long as I've been alive, and I'm old, so it's amazing.
And mostly volunteers too. So and we're very, very grateful for their time, because as a soldier, sometimes you just need somewhere to go to kind of unwind and relax and, get out of your barracks room, especially for those in the barracks. It's like, it's the same thing over and over. So sometimes you just need like a breath of fresh air, go take a walk, and then you end up at the USO.
Yeah, there you go.
So.
And you know what? You know what the best part about the every USO I've ever been to in my life is? Guess what's coming up now that we're going to have until probably July, August timeframe?
What's that?
Girl Scout cookies. For free.
For free?
Yes. There's always there's always Girl Scout cookies at the USO from about mid-February to like July, August. There's always, like, where did you get these from? Because they were sold out, and my Girl Scout pusher didn't have any. So how do you have them?
He's got his own Girl Scout dealer.
Hey, all I'm saying is I particularly like Girl Scout cookies, and there's a young lady on my block who sells Girl Scout cookies, and I always go to her. And when she doesn't have any, all I have to do is go find the USO, and they've got me hooked up. It's been that way for years.
Well, that's.
Do you have a favorite?
My favorite is the Thin Mints, and
Yes.
I think that someone said that there's some new ones this year that I'm gonna have to try out. I don't know
think
what
there
they're
were
called.
some last year too.
Yeah. I think that my other ones are those, what are they called? Not mimosas.
Nope,
That's
they're
something completely
Caramel
different.
Delights.
So
What are they called?
Caramel Delights.
Caramel Delight. Is that the one?
With the coconut on
Yes.
top?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Why did I want to call them something else?
Because we can't say what they're called now.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Oh, well, there's that. So outside of that, this weekend, last week first, let us start by saying last week weather was crazy. We weren't in the office. A lot of people weren't in the office. Some people did have to come in, but a lot of people didn't.
Ooh, bummer.
Yeah. So how for you? You live in the barracks. How was that for you guys?
So actually, this year was super easy. The power didn't go out.
Yeah.
So I think after that first initial freeze, it's gotten a lot better. Power didn't go out. I think we're still having some issues at least in some of the barracks, and I think that's just attributed to cold weather.
Yeah.
We still have hot water. That's not it, but it's just not like scalding hot.
Yeah.
Like my roommate likes. He's like, he wants to create like our entire barracks, turn our entire barracks room into a steam room.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, it's okay. Like it's not that, it doesn't need to be that hot.
I don't need 3rd-degree burns just to take a shower.
Yeah. But no, it was honestly super easy. I didn't really have to leave at all, and I was completely stocked in preparation for it. It was heated fine, and so no issues in the barracks.
Okay.
This year.
Yeah. And I think a lot of that for the soldiers on post and off post, I know a lot of that was just from the lessons that we learned from the last one, and just preparing, and like the communication for you, the communications that was put out there. How was that for you? How did you receive a lot of your information?
So lucky for me, I'm actually part of the team that puts that information out. But for everybody else, it was put out in formations. It was put out on social media sites, as well as just by word of mouth.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of the barrack soldiers kind of just talk, or if they're in the smoke pit or something like that.
Yeah.
Everybody just kind of talks, and so it was a lot of this information. Like, hey, here's the DFAC, the changing DFAC hours. Here's everything that needs to be put out, and everything that kind of needs to be shared. So, it was super. It was kind of cool too to see a lot of those barrack soldiers come together in almost like close knit like community.
Yeah.
When the freeze, because no one else is on base.
Yeah.
No one else is around but everybody in the barracks. So it's like, well,
what do we do?
Right,
Who's in charge?
Yeah, it was like Lord of the Flies kind of walking around. So it was kind of funny.
Okay.
But cool to see.
Okay. I had to make this breaking news. For the past 2 weeks now, the past 2 podcasts, we have been making a error because we said we didn't know who was going to be performing at the Super Bowl, which happens this weekend in, what is it, Arizona?
I believe so, Arizona, yes. Glendale.
Yeah, so we got that part right. But allegedly, the performer, according to Sam, is going to be none other than who? Blair?
Rihanna. You can add me to that list.
Rihanna.
Yeah, it's Rihanna.
I don't know if you guys know this, but Sam was extremely upset with me.
Hey, we made a couple good stabs at it yesterday.
We did.
Not yes.
Last week, we did. We didn't guess. We just didn't have all the information that we should have had. So it works like that. I think and that's pretty much it. We have the Super Bowl coming up this weekend. I think that's all that's coming up this weekend. What else is coming up? Oh, that's right. It's the beginning of the month. So what does that mean? Anybody?
Oh, book a movie of the month.
Oh, is it already?
It is.
Oh.
So that means stay tuned right after this, because right after the credits, you're going to have Sam and Blair, or Blair and Sam, or whichever you want to call it.
Blair again.
And the book and movie of the month. All right. Thank you, guys. And we will see you guys back here. Well, you'll hear us, but we won't see you, but you'll hear us back again next week. Take care.
See you then.
This podcast is a U.S. Army Garrison Fort Hood and Fort Hood Public Affairs production. The show's theme music is written and produced by Delicious All-Stars. All our music is obtained through Filter by Songtrader. Have a question or want to share some insights with us? Email us at forthoodpao@gmail.com. You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at USAG Fort Hood. And as always, be sure to leave a review and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts.
We want to let you know that there are no spoilers for either the book or movie of the month, so please enjoy the segment. All right. I am back. It is Samantha Harms with the Fort Hood Garrison Public Affairs Office. You have already been on this episode.
Yes, I have.
Perfect. Well, Blair, hello.
Hi.
Hello to me. It is time for Book and Movie of the Month. So obviously it's been a while since we've done this because we did not do this for January. It's already February. I can't believe that.
Yeah.
That's wild to me. Yeah, so we'll have to be better going forward. So for the movie of the month or movies, you want to tell us what we watched? What you watched, I should say, not we. Make a collective we.
We watched Avatar: The Way of Water and Plane.
Oh,
Plane.
just Plane. Okay.
Yeah.
Could you spell that for
like
us?
a plane, Plane.
Oh, okay. You almost messed up there, didn't you?
Think so hard. Yeah, just like a plane.
Okay.
That flies in the air.
An airplane.
Yeah, not a plane like a field, but a plane.
Or like plane, like that's
Like-
so boring.
Oh yeah,
Like, you know,
no.
lots of ways that you could describe the word plane.
Yeah.
Okay, so tell us which of the two was your favorite. Or not. Neither were a favorite, I guess, maybe.
When the first Avatar movie came out, this was the sequel.
Okay.
The first one that came out 14 years ago.
Right. I
And-
saw that.
Oh wow.
I saw the original.
So what did you think about the original?
Well, I saw it when I was hanging out with my high school boyfriend.
Wow.
That's how old this is.
Wow.
Yeah. I was in high school when that movie came out. And I remember like sitting in his like parents' house's like basement and we were watching it on the couch in the basement. And as I was watching, I was like, what is happening in this movie? The whole time I thought that. I did not know what was going on. So I obviously did not watch the second one.
No.
Yeah, that's where we're at.
When it came out, we watched it. We didn't go see it. We watched it at our house. And this was like the start of me realizing that alien movies weren't my thing.
Not for
It
you.
wasn't that I didn't think it was cool, and at the time the groundbreaking technology they used to film it, so it wasn't like wasn't appreciative of that. It's just alien movies are not my thing. And 14 years later, I can confirm that alien movies aren't my thing, but like again, they used groundbreaking technology to film this underwater. So they used motion capture underwater, which has never been done before.
Oh, okay.
And so, I mean, it was a 3-hour-long movie. It felt every bit of 3 hours.
Ooh.
It's 1 hour's worth of storyline and 2 hours of scenic shots.
Oh, wow.
Which were gorgeous. And I did get the IMAX tickets for this. So that was worth every penny. But, like, the story, there were a lot of open ends, which they've discussed making.
Yeah. Others.
I think at least 2 more.
Okay.
So, like, and these movies cost so much to make, it's ridiculous. But, like, it's one of the top 10 movies ever. So, as far as, like, making money. So,
right. Yeah, like broke $1 billion, didn't it? Something like that.
I think the first one did for sure. I don't know about this one, probably.
Okay.
If I had to guess, I haven't checked. But, like, I didn't outright hate the movie at all. Like, I mean, I was engaged. I wasn't bored out of my mind or anything, but just like giant blue people running around.
Yeah.
It's
not for everybody.
Yeah. And then the main character in this, he has a family now, and his young sons talk like kids would on Earth. But there's no way. Or well, there's maybe like there are humans that still live there and do things, but like they say like bruh and stuff like that. Like
bruh, no,
yeah,
they don't.
like but like these people are not. They're too old to talk like that, so they wouldn't have learned it from them. So that kind of bothered me and my roommate a little bit.
Yeah.
But other than that, it was gorgeous. I would recommend seeing it just to look at it.
So the way you're describing it, it makes me kind of think it's like a National Geographic, one of those like documentaries, you know, where you're like most of it is just like shots of the landscape that you're talking about.
Yeah,
or
and like the characters riding on the I don't know what they're called.
They're like little horse things.
Because in the first movie they they fly on those things. I think they call them banshees. I'm not sure, but there's like a water equivalent to that, and so riding on that, you know, just going through the landscape, being completely silent, not saying a word.
Oh.
So, like, yeah, it's a lot of scenic shots. That is the majority of the film.
Okay.
Which, again, I wasn't totally mad at. But, like, if I was just, like, watching it on my phone or something, I'd get annoyed. It's not the same. Like, we watched it IMAX 3D.
Okay, yeah. So this is like an experience kind of a movie.
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
But, like, I've experienced it once, and I'm good.
That's enough.
Yeah. So, like, it was fine. And there were some Avatar. Oh, I will say this. There's a lot of, like, action scenes involving boats.
Oh.
I feel like the way they shot those, the action felt really, you know, believable. Like if the boats for some reason kind of came off the surface of the water because something happened, like the people on the boat were suspended in midair, hanging on to the boat for dear life. So it wasn't just like everything seemed well thought out.
Okay.
Past the just the visual stuff. So like it wasn't. Again, it's just me, but like there were Avatar fans and they're totally geeking out.
Yeah.
And I mean, loving every second of it.
Yeah.
So like, I feel like it made the Avatar fans super happy.
Yeah.
So
I guess that's all that matters.
Yeah.
All right. So tell us about Plane.
Plane was just an action movie it's got Gerard Butler in it. And I was like, it looks okay. And that's what it is. It's just an okay action movie with a satisfying ending. So, you know, you're like, okay, I feel good about watching this. But basically, Gerard Butler is a pilot, and the airline that he's with or that he's flying, it's like a New Year's Eve flight or something. So, or something like that. So, like, no one's on this flight except for a few people.
Okay.
And they tell him and his co-pilot to fly through a storm.
Oh.
With, you know, not a completely topped off tank and
all the makings of an
that
action
you shouldn't
movie.
do just to save a little bit of money.
Yeah.
So obviously they crash outside of I think it was the Philippines on just an island that is inhabited by some not so good people. They're all criminals and, you know, they kind of have created their own society on this island. So
like what Australia originally was supposed to be for. Well, no shade to Australia. I love Australia. But also that's what it was for.
Yeah. But but like the ending was pretty abrupt, I will say that, but it was just a well-rounded action movie with a lot of guns and high speed action.
Oh, okay.
So, you know, if that's what you're into, then, you know, it was good. It didn't change my life, but I liked it. I wasn't like, it was a horrible decision. I shouldn't have watched that. You know,
you wouldn't necessarily watch it again, but if somebody said, "Hey, what do you think of this movie?" You'd be like, "I liked it. You could see it."
Yeah. There's one part, I won't say what it was, but I enjoyed it thoroughly at the end.
Oh, it's towards the end. Okay, so somebody's got to really stick through, just to get to the part you enjoyed the most.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it involves the plane.
Oh.
If anyone knows me, they'll know what it is.
Oh boy.
But yeah, I enjoyed it. Jessica enjoyed it. She really enjoyed Gerard Butler's eyes. I learned this in the truck afterward. So, but yeah, it was fun. I liked it, and yeah, like basically the passengers get kidnapped, and and there is a criminal being extradited on the flight that crashes with them, so he winds up helping. But yeah,
he winds up helping the people on the plane or the criminals.
The captain go save the passengers.
Oh, okay.
So,
Yeah, I just thought I'd clarify that.
No. Yes,
he helps, but we're not telling you who.
Yes, he just helps.
We'll leave it at that.
Yeah, but yeah, it was fun to watch, and I enjoyed it. So, yeah, it was cool.
Very cool. Mm-hmm. Well, for my book review for January, I decided to do a little look back on my favorite books from last year. So I'm going to just briefly talk about those 2 books.
Okay.
So the first one was All the Light We Cannot See by Anthony Doerr. It is a Pulitzer Prize winning novel. Amazing. It is set in World War II in France. And it focuses on a blind French girl and a German boy and their stories throughout the war and their roles in their own lives and in each other's. It was a really beautiful story. I really enjoyed it. So if you like, and I'm not somebody who necessarily enjoys war stories.
Yeah.
You know, that's not really a thing that I find myself gravitating towards, or most people my age for that matter. But it was something that I really enjoyed because it's about war, but it's more about the people who are living through what's happening to them.
Yeah.
And it's just absolutely beautifully written. Anthony Doerr has just like captivating writing that really puts you there, and that means a lot for me because I am not one to pay attention to details. Skip through all that. That's not how my brain works. I don't paint a picture in my head when I'm reading. I just read the words.
See, I find that so weird because I do like there's like a movie going on.
That's what people keep telling me. They're like, really? And I'm like, nothing. I got nothing up in there. Just words.
So like, did he like describe things well, or was it the dialogue, or like what made it a good?
For me, he described things really well, but not in like an overly flowery kind of a way. So he was to the point of like saying like, oh, like her long blonde hair brushed in the wind.
It wasn't all
metaphor. But it wasn't like, right. It was like her long blonde hair actually just brushed in the wind. And then because of that, she did this thing. It wasn't like
like a field
full
of hay,
flowers, and she went frolicking through, and then her hair brushed into the wind, and so she giggled, and she touched a pink butterfly as it floated. Like no, it's like her hair brushed in the wind because a bomb exploded. So then she had to run and do this other thing, and you're like, whoa, okay, like intense, like I see what's happening, but I'm not getting bogged down in the details.
Yeah,
so I liked that.
Okay.
That's my kind of style. Yeah. So I enjoyed the book. It was a Pulitzer Prize winner for 2015 and received the Andrew Carnegie Medal for Excellence in Fiction as well. So that is All the Light We Cannot See. And then my other favorite novel that I read. I'm so sorry. That I read last year was Truebas by Sarah Novick.
And that was the sign language one.
Yes, that was the sign language one. I've talked about that on this podcast before. It is one of the most, I think about that book a lot because it was just such a unique book in general, the way that it was written. I think one of my favorite things is the fact that in between the chapters of the novel, they are telling you about sign language and deaf community and showing you what the sign language would look like if you were to do it yourself for words that the character is learning, which I think is so unique. So interesting. And I was able to walk away having read a good story and having learned about ASL and the deaf community. So
yeah,
if you have any interest in that at all, highly recommend TrueBiz. Plus, even if you're not interested in like the actual learning portion, the story was really good too. It is about some students who attend River Valley School for the Deaf and their struggles with their own deafness and learning ASL and their relationships with their family members and the community surrounding their deafness as well. Yeah, it was a really good story. I liked it a lot.
Yeah.
That's all I got. 2 great books. So yeah, for me, I know that for 2023, I'm going to continue to focus on 1 Pulitzer Prize and then 1 newly arrived novel at the Casey Memorial Library. But going forward, instead of talking about 2, so currently they've been 2 novels every month, but now I'm going to talk about 1 novel, which I only talk about 1 novel on the podcast anyways. Yeah. But that means that every novel that I'm writing about for the Hood Sentinel, I'm also talking about on the podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very good.
Getting to dive in a little deeper. So, yeah, should be fun.
Very good.
All right. Well, I think that's all we've got for this month. So we will talk to you guys in a month.
Yeah.
All right. We'll see you then.